thing. We'll have to work on that intro thing. But tell us who we have here today, Sonia.
We got the comedian, stand-up comedian, the infamous, the alternate, Linnell Campbell. Yay, boy!
Yay! We always do the applause. Hey, look, let me tell you something. This one here, this one here.
My mom was geeking when I said she was going to be on this show.
Y'all sounded like you was having paper to remember my name. And FYI, I don't use my last name. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I went over that at first.
Well, you got it, because FYI, I don't use your last name either. How you like that?
Yeah, but she
I'm sorry.
She apologizes, but I can say this: you have a long and distinguished history in the world of comedy. And first of all, it's a pleasure to have you here. So say a few words to our listeners.
Well, are we live right now?
Yes.
We are live right now.
Right now.
Oh, so we couldn't edit that last name out. Oh well, damn. Okay. Well, hello, listeners. Now that you know everything about me. Hi, it's me, Lunell, everybody, and I'm glad to. I think I'm glad to be on here.
Well, we don't know if you're glad to be on, but we're definitely certain we're glad to have you. And look, let me tell you something. You have, can you hear me clearly?
Hello.
Linnell, can you hear me?
Hello.
What happened? Linnell, can you hear me? Linnell.
Hello.
Yeah, we're here. We hear you, but you can't hear us. Linnell, are you in a time warp?
Hello.
We're here. Hello.
Yeah. It wasn't coming through on my end.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, we charge $59 a second, so for every one of those disruptions.
I don't charge.
She said she don't charge.
I am not a part of that.
Well, she should be charging us. So tell me where you're at right now. Are you in LA?
Right this very second, I am in sunny Los Angeles, California.
Okay, and you said it's sunny. It's a little cold out here in good old Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. When you coming to town to see us?
I will be coming there because I'm going to be doing Warm Daddies with my man Saray. I did it before when Kindred the Family Soul used to do it, and I really love Philly. So it'll be soon. People can go on my website and we'll have it posted. We'll do that at the end, and then you can see. But I hope that everybody come out and check me out.
You know, Teray is like an icon here. He's a legend. And matter of fact, I wrote an article about him for a publication. I'm not going to name him because they didn't print my article, and I'm kind of upset about that. But he also has a comedy college as well. Very well organized. But tell me what you're working on now, Linnell.
Okay, well, I'm on tour with my Easily Annoyed comedy tour, which we just did the first shows of 2019 in DC, and I had 5 sold out shows before I got there, and we had to add one, so I was really very pleased at the kickoff of the year for that. And I have it's going to be pilot season out here in February, which means people will be, looking for new shows and auditioning people for new shows. So I'm actually taking some time off in February to try to do some of that work. And then we have some movies and stuff that are coming out. I'm very excited about Dolomite Is My Name, starring Eddie Murphy. That's a Netflix special that'll be out in May. And I did a movie called Ball Busters with Jerry O'Connell. Very funny movie. I could sit here and run off my stuff. Usually you guys got to see with all that crap on it. You just tell them yourself.
Yeah, but they don't want to hear from us. They want to hear from you. We already checked out your bio, did all of that, but this for our listeners to say, oh, Linnell's on, and they get to feel like.
I just don't like to sit and run off all my blah blah blah. That's rhetoric. I'd rather be talking about something more important.
Well, I'm sorry, Linnell, if this is talk radio and we have to talk.
I don't mind talking, but I don't want to run down my resume.
Well, we just wanted to give our listeners a little taste of what you've been doing. So, what do you want to talk about? Because we're gonna let you do this thing. What interesting topics you got on the top of your head today?
I mean, well, I'm not running a radio show.
Oh, she done boomeranged on me.
There's plenty of things to talk about. There's women in comedy. There's sexual stuff. There's racial stuff. There's all kinds of stuff to talk about. I mean, I'm sure that you know by now that comedians aren't that doggone funny when they're off stage. You know, we are real people. We talk about real issues. We got real feelings. We do real stuff. And I save a lot of the jokes for the stage, especially when I'm on, like my fifth interview today. You feel me?
Well, I do feel you.
You know, there's plenty to talk about, baby. I mean, throw something at me. Let's talk about it.
Well, look, there's one thing I was looking at, and I thought it was really interesting that when it comes to, I forget where was it Rolling Stone magazine, and they were discussing, and if I have the publication wrong, forgive me, but there was one thing, the way they were talking about the sensitivity, and before comedians had, it was carte blanche. You know, you said what you said, and today, I guess because of social media, everything you say seems to be critiqued. Do you think that comedy in the age of social media, that has changed to the degree where you have to watch what you say now?
Well, I do believe it has, but for me and the brands that I have procured over the years, I don't really bite my tongue too much, and usually if a sold-out audience is coming to see me, they already pretty much know what they're going to get when they come see me. And with the watering down of comedy for those who play that game, I think that there's a group of folk out there who really do want to see the raw and the real, and don't want to see people who bite their tongue and play that game. The only thing I have changed doing is politically, I'll save my political rhetoric for when I'm around primarily people who are of my mindset, i.e. minorities, urban sections, stuff like that. Like if I'm in Wisconsin, I'm probably not going to talk on my Trump rhetoric, and because I don't want to strike that vibe. I want everybody to come to the show, have a great adult beverage, eat their little chicken wings or whatever, sit back and throw their head back and laugh. I want the Democrats to sit next to the Republicans. I want the racists to sit next to the liberals. I want the white folks to sit next to the Mexicans and the black folks, and everybody laugh and have a good time. If they want to pick up their racist, fascist ideas once they get back outside the door, then they can do that. But for the time that they're in there to see me, I want it to be like a cruise ship where the whole main goal is just to have fun. And that's the only thing that I've really changed. But my stand on how I feel about stuff, sex and kids and family and work and getting fat and getting old and all that, I think those are subjects that go across the board where everybody can relate. And I don't bite my tongue about any of that. And so this hasn't affected me in that way because I've never been one to play the game that well. Maybe that has put me in one of those small movie categories to where we don't.
Now, Linnell, we didn't lose you, did we? No. Linnell, if you can hear us, give us a call back. We just lost Linnell, one of the queens of comedy. That's what I'll call her. You may have seen her in many, many, many movies or have had the pleasure of being at one of her stand-ups. But look, Linnell, if you out there, give us a call back. Hey, we got you. Linnell.
I don't know what happened. I didn't touch nothing.
See, that's
what I mean. The government has probably got my phone back.
We got to watch that government. We're in.
The POTUS or whatever, then they cut me off. That's what I'm talking about. Big Brother is everywhere.
Big Brother is everywhere. You know who we got in the White House. I ain't going to say any more about that because they could be listening in. How would you describe your comedy? You know, there's all sorts of comedy. And people say all kinds of things about Linnell in their description of your comedy. But how do you, Linnell, how do you yourself, how would you describe your comedy, your comedic style?
Well, you know, it's not for everybody. I'm very loose with the language, and that's not for shock value on stage. That's just the way that I talk. Of course, I have the ability to not talk that way. I'm a grown woman. I don't talk off the side of my neck when I'm around, you know, my elders or when I'm around, you know, people who I respect and stuff like that. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in English literature, so I'm very well versed in the English language. But, you know, I'm from Arkansas, was raised in Oakland. I got 4 brothers and 3 sisters, and we, you know, sort of F-bomb around at will.
Linnell, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Linnell, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. How many siblings?
I have 7 brothers and sisters. I'm the 8th of 8 children.
Wow.
I talk about all that on stage. 17 nieces and nephews, a husband, a baby daddy, a boyfriend, a boo. I got all that, all that. I do clean shows. You know, when I work with Sinbad, of course, I work clean. I have a Christian comedy DVD that I sell at my show that was recorded at my church. So, you know, I can be all sorts of people, but most people would describe me as, you know, the old word of blue comic, and I just talk the way that I talk the way that I feel, I talk the way that most people think, even if they don't say it. So I think that the way that I would, you know, describe myself is just very frank and very blunt, yet very funny. I'm not out to offend anybody or piss anybody off. I'm just out for everybody to throw their head back and laugh until exhausted. And that's how I would describe me. What other people say about me varies, and I really, you know, I'm pretty oblivious to what folks say about me, I think.
Well, most of it is positive, but you got my attention when you said you have a Christian comedy album out there.
I got your attention when I said what?
Christian comedy?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, every comedian has the ability, if you don't have Tourette syndrome or you're not completely within your realm of knowing what you're saying, every comedian has the ability to work clean. If you're hired to do that job and you're a professional, you should be able to do that. And I do attend church, and they like to make money, and I went to a small church, and so, you know, a good way to make money is always to do a comedy show. And so we recorded one many years ago. It's not a recent DVD, but, you know, that doesn't matter. Maybe the quality of tapes have gotten better over the years, of course, and we probably will be doing a new one. But, yeah, we recorded a DVD. I hosted it. We put like 3 other comics on as well, and it sells at my shows right alongside the Dirty DVD. And I've had many a first lady and pastor sit right up front at my shows, throw their head back, enjoy themselves, and come and buy not the Christian DVD, but the little dirty CD that's sitting right next to it. So you tell me.
Well, we're not gonna tell anybody if y'all come to one of Linnell's shows and buy one of the CDs, you first ladies and pastors and all you other religious folks, because she is funny. So tell me, Linnell, what was it? What was it initially? Walk me back to when it first began for you. What was it that made you step on the stage and try your hand at comedy?
I didn't think that I wanted to do comedy. I thought that I wanted to be a background singer, and my goal was to be a background singer for Luther. That's what I wanted to do in my delusional little head. But I think as I think back over the years from when I was a child, I did do a lot of sneaking and listening to Richard Pryor albums, sneaking and listening to Bill Cosby albums, sneaking and listening to Red Fox albums and the Flip Wilson and I mean albums and party records and stuff like that, Dolomite and so on and so forth. And I guess I must have stayed in my head, but I had a roommate that was dating a comedian who was running a club, and he used to be at the house all the time, and he told me he thought it was funny, and then if I ever wanted to come down to the club and do comedy, that he would put me on whenever I walked in. And I didn't pay it no never mind, but it sort of stuck in my head, and I knew I had many funny stories of things that had happened to me, because if you know anything about my comedy, I don't tell jokes, I tell stories like Ozzy used to. And so I go down to the club in Long Beach one night. I stepped off the stage and crushed it. I've never been booed in my life. And the first time I stepped on the stage, the first comedian I met was the late great Robert Harris, who then told me about the club that he ran, and I proceeded to go there, and I met a very young G.L. Hughley and other comics, and this was before Comic View or Def Jam, and I don't know, it just sort of spiraled after that, and I've been doing it now for 30 years.
Linnell, I see that you worked with Beyonce and Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. What was that like?
Well, Beyonce and Lady Gaga did a video for a song called Telephone, and I got a chance to be in that video. You can't see me unless you know where to stop, but you can definitely hear my voice all through the video, coming over the loudspeaker in the prison scene, coming out of the radio where Gaga and her were at together. So I got to meet and work with them then I got to work with Gaga again most recently, and Bradley with the movie A Star Is Born. Bradley and I had previously done a movie with Sandra Bullock called All About Steve, and Bradley and I had remained friendly ever since then. And when he did A Star Is Born, like I didn't have to audition or nothing. It wasn't a big part, but it was a part nonetheless.
Right.
And he threw me a bone and put me in there, and I put me and Gaga back together again, and me and Bradley back together again.
That was interesting.
Yeah, you obviously haven't seen the movie, but it's really good movie.
I have not, but if you were in it, I'm sure it's a good movie. So, Linnell, before we let you go, first of all, it really is, again, let me say it again, it's definitely a pleasure to have a chance to really speak with you. But for those who are listening or watching us on social media and they want to follow up, because as you said, you're coming to Philadelphia with our man Torre, Big Torre. How can people follow you and keep up with you and get a schedule of your events?
Well, mostly everything I do, I post on my Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram at Luenell, Luennell. And my website is heylunell.com, HeyLuennell.com. And that there's a schedule on there. We don't post like the whole year, but we post like maybe 2-3 months in advance, cities that I'm going to be in. There's a store on there where you can purchase merchandise, t-shirts, and you can actually get that Christian comedy DVD on my website, along with my other X-rated CDs. And there's a lot of clips and video clips and stuff like that. And when I mentioned The Star Is Born, you're like, no, I haven't seen it, but you didn't give any inclination in your voice that you intend to even see it. Hurt my feelings a little bit, but that's okay. I'm used to that.
Well, I do intend to see it.
Yeah, I don't think you would have said that. You didn't say that. Don't try to
She's gonna put me on Front Street. Linnell, one more time, because when you gave your email, you kind of faded. Just give that one more time, because I want people to look you up and stay in contact. I'm sorry. I meant to say your contact information. Forgive me. I'm getting old now.
Once again, my Instagram is at Luenell, at Luennell, and my website, where once again you can get the Christian comedy DVD, you can get my CDs, T-shirts, or any merchandise. You can look on there and see the schedule of some cities that I'm going to be at, and that is heylunell.com. HEYLUENELL.com.
Linnell, again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I can't wait to see you in Philly. I'm coming to see you. Tell Torrey I'm going to be there, and I'm coming to get a great big hug and a picture with you, and I hope you autograph it for me.
I will do all of that. I'm way more fun in person than I am on the phone, I promise.
Okay.
I heard.
Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to find out soon. Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless, and we appreciate you.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you, and you
Thank
do the same. Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy
You
New
too.
Year. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you go. That was Linnell. You've seen her. You've seen her on TV. You've seen her on stage. And now you just heard her and saw her here on the Sony show, live and direct. Sony, how you feel now?
I'm good. I'm good.
Look, we are on a time crunch, but we have
Time
a
crunch
very
is here, 'cause
special.
We have Rochelle Bilal.
We have
here,
Rochelle
who's
Bilal.
Who she's running for sheriff, Philadelphia.
Now I know we're in a rush, but we gotta give Rochelle Bilal the applause. So say that name again, and let's do the applause.
Rochelle Bilal.
Yay!
Put the Alec in it.
Right.
Miss. Yes.
So
So
for-
you looking all spanky.
Yeah, look at all sweet. So first of all,
So
thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Look, anytime a different kind of Democrat member calls, I have to come.
Well, we definitely glad to have you here, and we appreciate you coming. Tell me what's going on in your life today. You're well known here in Philadelphia, but we understand that you're running. Tell us what you're running for, and tell us why you're running for it.
I'm running for the sheriff of Philadelphia. And why I'm running, because I want to be the change that needs to be happening in the sheriff department. For the past couple of decades, it's been hit with a lot of things that's just not doing good for the citizens of this city. And so therefore, change is needed. Different kind of Democrats say, look, we want change, and I'm one of those people that decided to step up to be a part of that change that's going to be happening in the city. They said they had a women running. Well, we got a lot of people running to make sure that change, we're going to change Philadelphia for the better.
Now, change is a big word, and it encompasses a lot of things, and Philadelphia have its share of needs. What kind of changes should you win this, when you win this election, what kind of changes do you hope to implement?
Well, first of all, we want to be able to educate the city and people of the city about problems dealing with foreclosure.
Oh, your big
We
issue.
want to make sure that they know about the programs to help benefit them to save their homes. I want to be a person to keep people in their homes, not put them out. That's one of mine. The other thing I'm planning on doing is getting together with the community people, community organizations, financial institutions, new, and the ones that already existed, that can make sure that when people go into mortgages, that they're not predatory, that they basically benefit their family, that there's something that they can afford, and it is something that they can keep. We also going to employ an advisory commission for the sheriff office that comes from the community, and that will report back to the community to make sure that the things happening in the sheriff office are fair, equitable, and that nobody's up there is doing anything that is going to be against civil laws in this country, and then make sure that everybody's going to do the right thing when it comes down to people in their homes.
Now, you know, for many years, I mean, when I say years, I mean actually decades, the topic of a civil advisory board, police advisory board, has been discussed, but always, when it was attempted, ran into roadblocks. Do you think that that you would be able to implement it to make it actually finally happen?
Well, I'll get a lot of community people that will volunteer to come in there and analyze that sheriff department and make sure that they report back to the community what's going on. See, if transparency is the biggest thing, then the biggest transparency would be the community people coming in there to make sure everything is above board in that sheriff department. What other way could you do it? You could talk about transparency, but can you do it?
Right. And you know, one of the things, well, we know that you're everywhere in the community in Philadelphia. That's one thing for sure. You're everywhere in the community. The community know you. You know the community. Why do you think such community or how do you think such community engagement would help you in the role of sheriff?
Because I'm on the ground with the people.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working with community organizations all over the city. They know one thing that I am about is integrity, that I step up to the plate, that I speak truth to power, and that I speak truth about things that's going on in the city. I'm not scared. I don't have to resign my job to talk about the issues in the sheriff department. I can talk about them straight up. So if they want somebody that's going to be fair, that's going to speak truth to power, then I'm the girl.
Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of, I guess you could say, discontentment and barriers between the community and law enforcement, especially in the city of Philadelphia. Because of that, the trust and the relationships between the two have oftentimes been poor or non-existent. How do you think? I mean, the community know you as well, but how would you hope once you become sheriff? How can you bridge that gap between law enforcement and the community?
Educate them. Be out there in the community. See, the thing with this, they should be distrustful because of past experience with law enforcement. But what they don't know and what the media don't cover is all the good things the police officers are doing out there in the community. They're going above and beyond to connect with the community. Each district has a community affairs office. Each district does something with the community throughout the year. But the news media don't publish all of that. So continue to build that bridge is you have to put your feet on the ground. You can't be up in the office 24/7 and doing nothing. You have to put your feet on the ground and get back out there with the community and not just do it during election time.
Mm-hmm. Who supports, have anyone come out, any organization, especially in law enforcement, come out to support and to endorse your candidacy?
Well, everybody's waiting to see who gets on the petitions.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a lot of groups that are supporting me, and they will see that once those petitions are on and I'm on the ballot.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure every candidate who runs for any position anywhere and anywhere in the United States has always asked this question. So I might as well just ask you and get it over with. Why do you feel qualified? What qualifications do you have for this office? And why do you think you're the one to be the next sheriff of Philadelphia?
27 years experience in law enforcement, 12 years as the leader and director of the Guardian Civic League organization that I had to reconstruct in order to make sure that it stayed in touch with its bylaws as for reaching out to the community. I've been as the secretary of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, since 2004. I work with mostly all the community groups in this city, and I still do. See, I'm running for office, but I still run the Guardian Civic League, and I'm still getting together with community organizations. Just last Saturday, I met with a bunch of men who met at the Guardian Civic League building who wants to get out here and help stop the violence in this city. I have women who have came together at the Guardian Civic League that's dealing with the issues of abuse of authority on their job. And that came out of the fact that a black female captain was assaulted by a white chief inspector in the Philadelphia Police Department. So we're still organizing different groups in this city. I'm still doing the job as the president of the Guardian Civic League, and I'm still doing the job as a community activist in this city. Why I'm qualified? All those things.
You know, you are very progressive, and there's some factions of government who want things to stay the same. Change is a very scary thing to them. How do you hope to overcome some of the internal obstacles for those who just don't want change? How would you deal with them?
The ones who don't want change are the hypocrites in this institution. You can't say you want change and you don't want to vote for Trump, don't want people to vote for Trump, and yet you don't want change. That's hypocritical. The ones who don't want change are the ones that need to go. And that's why I'm running for sheriff.
When people think of crime and they think of law enforcement, they think of it individually. Like, it's usually when something happens to my family, something happens to me, most people get concerned. What would you say to people about the overall effect of crime, even for those who are not direct victims?
Then they need to get involved. If you are not a direct victim, you can be. It could be you. It could be your family member. It could be anybody. It could be your best friend. So you can't stand to the side when it's happening all around us. You got to get involved. This violence in our city is going to take all of us. It's going to take the community. It's going to take the politicians. It's going to take the activists. It's going to take all of us. And if we sit down and do absolutely nothing, what they say, you either be part of the solution or you're part of the problem.
And one final question, and I appreciate you taking the time to come in here and to bless us with your presence. But am I not the best interviewer you ever seen?
The best interviewer that I've ever seen. And I thank y'all for having me. Just let's say this. I'm running for sheriff to be a different kind of person. I'm a part of the different kind of Democrats. And as we go out in this city, we will let you see exactly as to what we're about. We're about the community being treated fairly. We're about the community empowerment. And we're going to make sure we get this done for the people in this community and for everybody.
Thank you again. That was great, and I learned a lot of stuff. Rochelle Bilal, everybody, look, she's running for sheriff. It's time for change. She says she can be that change, and she proved it. She came out here to talk to y'all today.
She can or she is?
I'm sorry, she can or she is?
Did you say she can be that kind of change or she is?
I don't know. I got to roll back. I was talking kind of
Yeah,
fast.
because you said can. I was speaking into the presence like she is.
Okay.
That type of change.
All right, y'all should say. I don't know if y'all can see the way Sony looked at me, but the way she looked at me kind of scared me. So yeah, it kind of startled me because I didn't know what I said.
Democrat.
A different kind of
Different
Democrat.
kind of Democrat.
Thank you again. I appreciate that. Not only
You're
for
welcome.
coming here, but the work you do.
Thank you.
Can I
Thank
just
you.
ask you one thing? Because, even though I know, what is a different kind of Democrat?
Progressive, aggressive, and wanting to see change in this city. That's a different kind of Democrat.
Wow, that was a direct answer. We don't get people to come in and give direct answers when they run for
be
office.
on the mulberry bush.
Right.
Yeah.
Good question, by the way.
You know, different is being direct nowadays.
All right. Well, thank you again. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Rochelle Bilal, everybody. She came in to tell us about her candidacy for the sheriff of Philadelphia, and I am going to follow this more closely. But you've seen her. You've seen Sister Bilal out there in the community. I mean, she's everywhere, so you know she's accessible. And so if you want an accessible sheriff and you want a different kind of Democrat, I know there's a lot of heat with the Democrats, but this is a different type of Democrat. You can just follow Rochelle Bilal running for sheriff of Philadelphia.
Sheriff.
Give me
Yep.
the
RochelleBilal.com.
Dad took over
We
business.
said that together. We said it together.
Yeah.
Finally, we're on the same page. RochelleBilal.com.
I was on the page.
We're on the page.
I thought we was on the radio.
I was writing, yeah.
Oh, I wasn't on the page. I thought we were just.
No, you didn't know you were on the page. You were actually on the page.
Okay.
But you were also on the radio.
Oh, cool. I thought we.
So you're playing a dual role here today, so I congratulate you.
Okay.
And you're doing a good job. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well.
Is it time to break for some music? Or?
No, because we have another guy.
We have another guest. And, okay.
Yeah, we have another guest. So we gonna bring this young lady on. I'm sorry, we got so much going on up in here. You got to pardon us. We haven't been here for a while, but how it goes is that today is my mother's birthday, so I'm like toggling social media. Everybody's talking about it, and I got here just in enough time to get everything all set up and everything. But we had a young lady here before us. Oh my gosh, I'm like, when I first met her, let me give you a little snip. When I first met her, I was like, wait a minute, I'm standing there. I'm like, what happened was Eagles, Wendell Smallwood Jr. was having a meet and greet in Newark, Delaware. So I went, and when I got there, I noticed that there was this young lady that was being escorted over and was asking questions. It's like, well, who is she? They were whispering and stuff. So anyway, when she was done, I, asked, to find out more about her, and I found out. Oh my gosh, she makes me want to go back to school and like never, ever, 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 ever leave school. But 8-year-old, this is a reporter. I need to up my A game on everything. Everything, yep, everything. And the woman, the young lady has class and, yeah, and she's, well, educated and, beautiful. Yeah, did I say that? But yes, let me just say, I thank you so much for coming on. And I appreciate y'all taking the time, because from my understanding, you came straight here from school.
Yes.
Yeah, how was that little ride, coming back from school to straight here?
It was pretty quick. I was so excited to come. I was like so nervous, but I'm like really excited to be here.
I'm so excited. She's excited. I love her. She geeks like me. That's what I'm talking about. But when you find somebody that geeks like you, wait a minute. Mom's over there geeking too. Like, we just got a whole bunch of geeky people up in here. I'm thinking, like, what is going on up in here? But and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did all of that geeking and talking and stuff. We forgot to. Do tell us. Introduce yourself, young lady.
Well, my name is Tiana Sturmans, and I am 8 years old, and I'm a reporter for Time for Kids magazine.
And this is where I have to chime in, because I know this is a diabolical plot to replace me.
Did you really?
I just know it. So they got this young lady here, right? So she could take my place in journalism. Is that true? Tell me the truth. I'm gonna be out of a job, so
Oh my gosh, it'll be okay.
she's gonna take my place.
When you sit next to me, we just gonna have fun. But I guess I was gonna say lollipop, but that's not good. Yeah, but we'll find.
Well, that went right over my head, but okay, I'm gonna take
we
it.
sit next, kids with the lollipops, but we can't do
This is a
that.
professional journalist here.
That's why I said we gotta put that to the side.
Right.
So her and I will be discussing big girl moves, and lollipops won't be in it.
Okay, well, maybe you got to be inside Sony's head to get this.
She was gonna be taking your
She's
spot.
taking my
So
place.
she sits right there.
They working on a new generation of journalists to get rid of us old folks.
A new generation.
I saw it coming.
You seen it?
I saw it coming. But tell me, what was it, young lady, that made you want to be a journalist?
What made me? Really just that I love telling stories and being able to share my thoughts and my favorite things with the world, and writing, or even just speaking to other people that maybe I really have wanted to meet for quite a while.
Right. And you've been doing this how long?
It's been a year.
It's been a year. Tell me about that year. Was it all that you hoped it would be?
Yes, I was really excited, especially when I first started and when I learned that I had won the contest. I was very excited to get started.
Now I missed the part about the contest. Did you already discuss it yet?
No.
Okay. Oh, tell me about the contest. Tell me about the contest. I guess that initiated all of this, and then walk me through it.
So the contest, well, I really just knew I wanted to do journalism, and I started to take this actually red carpet hosting classes.
Okay.
So after that, I met someone who went to Good Morning America, and I started going there to get the experience. After that, I just knew that's what I wanted to do, and that I really was interested in reporting. So then I entered inside the contest, and it was where there was 2 rounds, and you had to submit articles. The first time I submitted an article on World Oceans Day, and I had made it to the finals out of 300 entries. I was 1 out of 10, and for the final round, actually, that was to submit the contest. The second round was where they were picking the 1 out of 10 to be the reporters for Time for Kids magazine. And I was submitting an article on this girl named Priya Jakumar. She was helping give socks and clothes to homeless people that needed them. and eventually they gave us a call and said that I had won, and I was 1 out of 10 of the Time for Kids junior reporters.
Now, when you first found out that you were selected to be, out of all of it started out as 300 people, then down to the 10 finalists. And when you find out that out of all of those people, you were the one who would be Time for Kids reporter, what was your first reaction? First, tell me how you found out, and then tell me what your first reaction was when you found out.
They had called me, and they were at first talking to my mom, and then my mom was like telling me to come downstairs. And when they told me the news, I was so happy I could not calm down. I was screaming like, I got it! And I was so excited to start.
And do you know, I applied for Times Magazine. They turned me down. They said there was this young lady who they had hired instead.
You actually applied.
I'm not liking you right now.
You actually submitted for Time Magazine. Okay.
Well, actually, I didn't, but
I
I thought it made good footage.
No.
No? Okay. So it's been a year later. What do you think?
I'm really liking it. I can't wait to do another article. And I'm so excited. It's making me feel happy and proud, especially with everything that I've accomplished with reporting and journalism. So it makes me feel just good, especially with all this other stuff.
And you should be proud. I mean, that's no easy task, and this is no easy job. What is one of the toughest things, the most challenging things you have to face now as a young reporter?
One of the challenging things would be trying to, with the research, with learning more about the people, and especially like interviewing them, trying to make sure you have all the questions correct and everything. And it's really just practicing what you need to do for the questions.
Right. How do you practice? What's your formula? Everybody have their different style. What's your formula?
The way I practice is usually I interview my mom. Like, we get the questions and everything, and then I end up interviewing her for practice.
And so how many people would you say so far over that year period have you had to interview?
2.
Okay. And so now what do you hope to do in the future? Like, it's been a year. Let's say 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, where do you see yourself at? What do you see yourself doing in the world of journalism?
I see myself interviewing a lot more people, bigger celebrities that have done like great things. Like, maybe they're doing like big movies. They're doing great things in life.
I understand you've been on.
She said big celebrities. I'm starting to feel like you, like, she might be coming from my job. Like,
I think so.
yeah.
I think so. And we would change the name of the show, and you'd be sitting right here,
It wouldn't even be us.
and she'd be
Nowhere.
somewhere else. What do you think about that? Would you like to become the new host of the once was Sony show?
Yes.
Wow, she has no.
How much you pay?
Look, there was no compunction.
All on that forehead.
She didn't even pretend she was.
No, she was like, she didn't
yes.
even go all around it. No beating around. Yeah, sure. Yep.
I will take her job.
Yes. Do I sign right now? Like, there was no hesitation. She didn't even take a breath. Like, breathe.
And you know what? It's a possibility because you've been on Good Morning America.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Tell me about that. How did that happen?
It started when I took these red carpet hosting classes in New York, and there was a lady that actually did like the casting for Good Morning America to be on the kids segment. So after I met her, I just started going on. I think I've been on about 7 times.
Wow.
And I really enjoyed it, and that was one of the things I did to get me here with reporting now. And
it's a whole different world, broadcast reporting. tell me tell me a little bit about the difference between that and times for kids.
One of the different things about it is really just actually interviewing them on live TV. Where with Time for Kids, it's like you interview the person and then you put it in an article. Then it's inside a magazine instead of on TV.
That's what I do. I interview them. You see, I got my little digital recorder here, and I take my little notes, and then I go home, and then I write it. But I'm not big enough for the magazines. I do the newspapers. But I'm hoping to catch up with you one of these days.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna start moving in next door to them because.
Oh, you're just gonna sell me out?
Yeah, I'm going to hang out with her. She make the moves.
Now let me ask you now.
Pushing pencils.
Just pushing pencils.
Yeah.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay, I get it. You see what you started here? You
Yes.
come here, you cause all kind of disruption.
I don't even know why you asked
you
me.
got
You
me
know she
fearful
gonna be
for my
right
job.
to it. Right to it. Yeah, right to it.
She has
No
no
punches.
hesitation.
No,
Yes.
She has. I like that. She knows what she wants. So it's like, why do I need to go around that? Like, I know what I want.
Are you an avid news watcher or news reader?
Not really. I like to always look at the magazine every time it comes out, see my articles, go over it, and I just feel so proud of myself.
Now, I personally, and I've been doing this, news reporting 10 years. I'm one of those people that never liked my writing, just like I don't like the sound of my own voice. Like I never did. Never. Always hated the sound of my own voice. Always never liked what I wrote, but I just loved writing. How do you feel about your work? Tell me, is that just me, or how do you feel when you see your own work?
I do feel proud of myself. I also used to always just like write down stories almost every day, make these books, and sometimes share them with my friends. And with that, eventually my friends started interviewing me. So it's like I knew it was fun to ask people questions and also create stories. So
I think that's the best part of this job is talking to people, getting inside their head, learning their histories and their narratives. When I was a kid, but long before I was able to work, we couldn't even write. My mother would buy us books, and we couldn't read, but we look at the pictures and pretend we could read. Did you grow up like with a lot of books around the house?
Yes, I did. One of the things that I love to do, and is also kind of my favorite school subject, is reading.
Yes.
I just love to read every book. You put a book in front of me, I will read the whole thing.
I was like that too, and I don't know if they still do it nowadays. But we used to have it was this catalog, 1-page catalog, and you could order books.
Oh yeah.
And then I'd sit there and I'd wait for weeks and weeks for my books to come, and then they finally come. I'd be so happy. But anyway, I digress.
I don't think
How-
I still do it. Not sure.
But I know when you was in school, they used to have the
Well,
little
I used to have the
chisel.
encyclopedia. So I was fortunate to I think I
We
was
had
the
those.
only black female in my area to have encyclopedia. So I started doing that.
My mother used to buy us a whole bunch of encyclopedias and books. We couldn't even read. But
Yeah.
but by the time we got to school, we could read. But this isn't about us right now.
Right.
But because you're about to be replaced anyway, I don't want you to get comfortable.
Wait a minute, she said you first. You going first. You already out.
But she
that's
already
why you
got me in
outside
a-
with the bribery stuff. Hey, like, let's do lunch.
Please,
Like,
Michelle. Please, Michelle, give me a job.
like, hey, girl, how you doing?
And so, how influential would you say your mom was in your new career as a reporter?
She was the same as me. She was proud of me. She was very excited. And she was like really just wanted to see what amazing things I will do and what big things I will take on in the future of journalism.
And I have a feeling that you're going to change the face of journalism as we know it. In looking at what you're doing now, let's go to I'll focus on the magazines for now. if you were the editor in chief, what changes would you make in magazine format or content? Oh, that was a good question. I could tell.
That was a good question.
That was a good question?
Yes. Maybe
Was that a good question?
Maybe you have your job after all.
What changes would you make, or what would you like to add to that's not currently there in our magazines and newspapers?
One thing that I would change would probably be just the way we do the articles. It would be like maybe certain topics on certain pages. Like if it was for books, then it would be like a section of books, section of movies, or maybe other big things.
Right.
Like changes people have made and stuff in the world. And I would just change that. And one thing I would add is probably just more things that are very good inside the world, and also problems and changes inside the world that have been helping, like with history and the future with people.
Because we do get enough bad news, and one of the things I focused on was looking in the community and finding things that were good and empowering. So maybe we can work together. And then I can still have a job, and you wouldn't have to take my job because we'd be a team. Did you see her eyes?
Yeah, she's trying to do the solo.
She's like, no, you got to go.
Yeah, you gotta go.
I got to have your job.
Yeah, she has to have your job.
Wait till she see my pay. Ooh, she's going to give it right back.
Word discussion.
Probably.
Well, look, I really appreciate it. What are you working on now? What stories?
So far, one is really top secret.
It's top secret. Okay, we're not gonna. We don't want to divulge any secrets. Then. Look at Sony.
That's one thing as a reporter, man. You can't be indulging too much.
They silly. You're hearing it right here, Philly Hot Radio. Let me tell you something. We have budding, growing reporter, and she's going to change the face of the game. I just know it. And so if you're out there and you're hiring and you need an old reporter, who's
Let me ask you this, because I know that's like probably way off your radar for right now. But have you ever thought about the White House? Because you have those reporters in the White House, and I can see her.
She said she like good news.
No, that's
Ain't nothing good coming out of there.
To cover all the stuff that goes on in the White House. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
So how do you feel about that?
It's a good idea, but I don't think right now.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You know, I used to.
then I figured maybe she can report and get. Well, that's all right.
Yeah. We want.
Keep it to myself.
Yeah. Or we can get you. We can get you to go out to the White House. And,
I ain't gonna know her now.
you know. Oh, but you're gonna throw her out there to the
No,
wolves
because
and
she
use it.
would know how to conduct herself and get those questions asked and get some answers and put people like, oh, okay. She's young, and of course she's gonna get the respect and the recognition, and they're gonna feel intimidated. Like, oh, how's she making her? You have to answer her question.
Right.
So we gonna get some answers.
But you could always plead the fifth. Of course, that's a
She's
courtroom
not gonna
term,
be-
but.
yeah, she's not going for that. No.
But we digress. I'm sorry. Look, see, what it is somebody else feel that the lack of job security as well, and so she keeps changing the focus, and now she's trying to send you off to the White House. If people wanted to learn to read your articles or follow your future articles, how can they do that?
They can actually go to Time for Kids page at timeforkids.com. I also have Instagram. My Instagram is Tiana Official. And
Can you spell that?
my first name is Tiana. Cherie is spelled Sheree, and official is spelled Official.
Did you get that one?
I did. I was sitting here writing it all down so that we can make sure we can repeat it throughout the broadcast.
And that you have official.
We have official.
She's not duplicated. She's an official, the originator.
Here we go. So what is it you're trying to say?
You see how she made sure she was.
She made sure it was official.
Yeah, she was official.
Right.
Yeah, she's no joke.
So did you find yourself getting invited as a reporter to cover a lot of events, like from different organizations? People send you press releases and stuff like that?
Sometimes with certain things, I do get like press passes, maybe for what I do, and really not much, but yes.
Can I just ask you a question?
Well, we got to think about that. Can she ask us a question?
Yes.
Oh, she said yes.
Technically not you.
Ouch.
I just want what is the vibe like? With your classmates, or do they have like when they see you and say like, okay, she's an 8-year-old reporter. She's not like the average, student or her classmates, who studies, along with her, but she's like, how some of them have they have extracurricular, sports and stuff, but she's an actual reporter at her age, and I'm just wondering if those at her age level actually understand what she does, and if they treat her like, a little differently, like,
oh, good question.
She's like a celebrity type, kind of, rather than, a Tiana.
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. Do your friends, your peers treat you any different now?
Yes, my friends do. A lot of them do call me a celebrity, especially because I'm also doing something with like journalism, kind of like a podcast with my school.
Oh, cool.
And actually, another thing is that with Time for Kids, I'm actually the youngest reporter there.
Wow. Okay.
So, okay, now how do your teachers feel about, when they go to address you and they're like, hey, I got this reporter up in here, so that, because as a reporter, like, you have to be informed of some stuff, like she said, studying about some stuff, and if she's an avid reader and she loves to read, that means she's holding some knowledge. History comes into play, social studies. So when you have this teacher that's sitting up here telling you about current events, and she's portraying this person who has to know about current events, like how does that, you're sitting back holding this intelligent conversation with the teacher about current events, is like, oh, I didn't even know that one. Like, I wonder how that feels to, to be in the classroom and to have a teacher looking at you as if, is she about ready to teach me something?
How they feel?
Yeah.
They are actually very proud of me. They do expect a whole lot from me, especially inside of my classroom. If like I'm the only one raising my hand, it's like I know a lot about these things that I'm learning in school. I pay close attention, make sure that I'm following the teacher's words so that I know exactly what I'm doing.
And I don't know if I asked you this, but if I did, forgive me for repeating myself. But interviews, when you have a subject, do you pick your subjects or do Time for Kids pick it?
Both.
Both?
So at first I am the one. Usually it's me, but it's also them. So what they will do is they'll like say, hi, like they'll email me and say, hi, Tiana, we want you to do this. And so I say like, yes, sure, I'll do it. And then I go ahead and do the research on the person or whatever I'm researching on. And with me, usually I find things everywhere. And when I find out something like, oh, this is a good idea to do, then I pitch my idea of what I want to do and why I want to do it.
Right.
And then they send it, my mentor, she sends it to the person who picks, like if they're going to do it or not, and then they let me know.
Okay, same here, same here. I got an editor. Who's your mentor? Tell me about your mentor.
Her name is Constance Gibbs. She is very nice. She actually let me get a tour of the Time for Kids studio. And I loved her. She is so nice and sweet. And it's like, she is the best. I really love her.
And how often do you guys have to meet or interact?
Not much. It's just like I will send her emails like with my pitching, or maybe sometimes she'll just send me emails about her trying to get me to do something, and like sometimes she'll say like, "Hi, Happy New Year" and stuff.
Right. Where is Time for Kids located?
It is inside New York.
Okay. And so do you have to travel there often, or most of your stories based here in Philly and you just electronically submit them?
Most of my things, I don't have to go down to the studio. It's just like she emails me the things that she wants me to do, or I email her the things that I want to do, and seeing if they say yes, I can do it.
Cool, cool. And so, Sony, I know you got a whole bunch of other questions, you know, being that your time here is limited. Let me ask this question before we skip to your predecessor, who will soon be the person you replace. How when you become the host of this show, when you assume the seat of the hostess of this show, what changes would you like to make in our broadcast?
Good question.
Oh, thank you. That's why I get paid no dollars whatsoever.
Not much, but I wouldn't exactly become the host.
No,
No.
I'm offering you the position. Are you turning me
You
down?
want to give it up already? She didn't even come for the job. You want to give it to? Oh, that's so nice of you. Oh, look at that.
Wait, one question.
Certainly.
Are you talking about her job or your
His
job?
job.
Oh no, that's
His.
no. My job was not even up for consideration. I apologize. We're talking about her job.
His job. His. And the ladies have it. Yes.
His job, because I would definitely like to be the one asking all the questions to whoever is sitting inside the seat.
Yes, I know. When
I just cannot win here. I cannot win here. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you out there, if you out there in America somewhere, and if you could see what just transpired, but
You're fired.
I'm being fired on air.
You're fired.
Sorry,
I have a
gentlemen.
replacement. I've been replaced by
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
8-year-old
it's
reporter.
You don't have to worry about packing up the stuff. I'll send it to you. Don't worry about it. I'll start the car up for you. I mean, hey, whatever you leave here, don't worry about it. Make sure you get it. Within one day. Don't worry about it.
This has to be the
You
lowest
want
moment of my
some candy on the
career.
way out? I got some tissue because I know you're gonna be crying a lot, but it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. I promise you, we will call you. We'll make sure you're okay. You're fine.
So you don't feel any type of way about this?
I can't wait till she starts.
Yay!
Balloons and confettis and yes.
Yay!
Well,
See? That's what I'm talking about, girl. Yes.
Tiana, there's no regret whatsoever
No,
that
we
you.
regret that you are still here, but it's okay. It's okay. It is okay. You shall be so missed. As soon as you get outside,
We're gonna have a party.
Yes.
Well, look, I was just starting to feel that maybe we were going to be working together and all of that,
You
but
come by every now and then.
I can come by.
Get the trash,
Ooh.
so there's a
Or-
janitorial
pizza.
spot.
Or we could bring you.
Okay.
Like you can be. Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that.
Okay.
In 2020, right?
Well, great. Well, look, I appreciate it. Tiana, is there anything else? Anything you'd like to say about yourself, Time for Kids magazine, or maybe how about this? An inspiring, motivational word for others young like yourself who may be listening to this. What advice could you give them?
Before you answer that, because she is young, she's up, and somebody's gonna because I asked because in her classroom there is somebody who's probably afraid to speak up and just don't know how. If somebody's watching her, you know, and it's like, oh, I want to. How would you go about telling somebody who wants to be just like you how to become a reporter?
Good question.
Well, it's pretty much what I was going to say to his question. It's just to keep dreaming and believe that you can do that and that you can accomplish whatever it is that you want to do. Because as long as you work hard and believe in yourself that you can do whatever that big moment for you is, just keep dreaming and believe you can do it, and I'm sure that you will be where you want to be in life.
Well, there you have it. Thank you very. Did y'all hear her?
Yes.
She's preaching. That's wisdom there.
Yes, there is so much wisdom all up in it. That's what I saw. I said, girl, I gotta have you next to me. I can't wait till we hitting the highways and the byways doing the interviews, or she'll be doing the interviews. I can't wait till we just fucking.
Can I at least drive the car like drive
No,
you
you
from?
maybe put the gas in.
Put the gas in.
Give
I
us
could
directions. How about toll money? Oh, we need some food money. Oh, we got to go shopping. We need that. I mean, you could do that one.
You heard it right here, America. You
Another-
heard there is no loyalty among co-hosts and hosts. No loyalty whatsoever. So if you happen to be somebody looking for someone who's an older gentleman and in need of a job, I'm that person. Just give us a call right here at Philly Hot Radio, and I might be here for the rest of the night. But after tomorrow, I don't know. I might be at the unemployment line.
We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk. We can find you something to do. You know, we got snow's coming. Maybe you can come and shovel the snow.
I can.
Yeah, you know, throw the salt out.
Well, I appreciate that. Anything I could do, anything. Thank you, Sony.
Oh, you're so welcome. But we do thank you for coming.
Thank you very
yeah.
much. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
And you have to come back again.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
You got to come back again because you know, we got to talk off the air. I am waiting for okay because there's somebody going to be hosting a show in Philly, and I'm trying to snag them. But I did promise Miss Tiana that I was going to get her some seats, some tickets to the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
February in Delaware. So yeah.
I want to go.
Okay, but her and I talk. We'll talk about
Okay.
you know bringing.
You're going to ask her if it'll be okay if I can go?
We'll talk about you coming on, but
Okay.
yeah.
I appreciate
but
it. Thank you.
we thank you for coming out here. You know, taking the time coming. You know, like I said, she came straight from from school. I know you know you gotta get up early in the morning, and kind of tired, and then get the schoolwork, homework done and stuff. But we appreciate you coming out here, taking the time, and sharing your life story with us. It was
Thank
very
you.
nice.
Thank you. I'm motivated. I'm inspired
Yeah, it is.
because now I can dream. I dreamed of being a reporter. I became a reporter, and now someone's replacing me. So now I'm going to have to change my dreams. But thank you.
Yeah.
Since we did that, one, when do I start? Two, how much am I getting paid?
Oh, now that's
That.
the part that's going to make you want to change your mind. You might want to reconsider the offer when you find out what the pay is.
We'll discuss this off the air.
Okay.
That should tell you everything you need to know. I rest my case, Your Honor. We have no further use for this witness. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
You're
All right.
welcome.